Hello friends, welcome to Student Support UK. It's me again, Suki, and today we will talk about credibility interview for Tier 4 student visa. Let's get started. So, as you know that the interview is now back, universities, even the visa officers are now conducting interviews, but not for all students, but they randomly pick students. So on an average, is 5 to 10% students face the interview. So, what's the reason for this interview? Why they started this interview? As I have explained before in my previous videos, um, the UK is not the easy game anymore. So, UK is getting more difficult or more harder to get the visa or to get qualified for the UK student visa just because the people came previously last year or in September intake, they abused this visa. Anyway, so the interview is now back. So you may face your interview at the time of your visa application or later at the time of your immigration. So reason for the interview is they will check what is your intention to come to UK, why you are coming to UK, what's your reason to come to UK, if you're going to study, or are you able to communicate in English? Are you really coming to UK for study? Overall, what they will check is, are you a genuine student or not? So you have to ask this question to yourself as well. I explained this so many times, UK is a brilliant opportunity at the moment. It's open after 7 years with a post-study work permit. So make a best use of this opportunity, my friend. Interview process. This process consists of two Skype interview and the one face-to-face interview. Your first Skype interview will be pre-CAS interview. This will be conducted by the uni itself, and this interview is just before they issue CAS letter. Once you clear your first interview, then you will be issued with the CAS letter. Then you'll have to apply for your visa application, and your second interview will happen at your VFS office with a visa officer there. The interview pattern for the both interview will be same. They will cover the same sort of like a topics and scenarios and questions. So don't worry if you're prepared. So you'll be fine. So these two interviews are like pretty much the same interview. And your third interview is the face-to-face interview. This is not really the credibility interview, but this is the interview at the time when you come here in the UK at the airport with the immigration officer. Credibility interview. Let's type some university name. London South Bank University, for example. So let's click on the credibility interview, and here you will see this. Applying outside of UK. The Home Office intend to interview most students applying for a Tier 4 general visa to enter the UK from overseas. So the most students, they will not cover 100%, but they will choose randomly. They will pick students randomly. You will be interviewed when you attend. See, I'm reading this line here. You will be interviewed when you attend the visa application center to submit your application and biometric information. So this is the interview when you go to the visa application center with your application form and the CAS letter. But before they issue the CAS letter, you have to face the pre-CAS interview as well. And there must be some information here. Let me just go back a bit. And the pre-CAS process. And in the pre-CAS process will tell you what you have to do. And If I scroll, I'm on London South Bank University website, and if I go down and you see here, this is precast process, and in the precast process, you have a document checklist here. And this document checklist, you have to get yourself prepared, your financial document, your date of birth certificate. If your funding is in your father's account, then you need your father's consent letter. And you have to send all of these documents, not all of these documents, but whatever the uni asks you to send to them. So whatever the applicable for you, you'll have to send those documents to the uni, and they will then issue a cast letter to you, and then you will have to appear in the interview at the visa application center, as we already have seen in on the uni website. So what I would recommend here is, if you're applying to um, London South Bank University, you can go and check their website, and then this will help you to get prepared. Let me go back to the Google once again, and let's see um, credibility interview Napier. So if I check Napier, and Napier has all tier 4 applicants. Let me just highlight this a little bit. All tier 4 applicants overseas can expect to receive a short credibility interview at the beginning of the application process, which will be conducted via Skype with a Home Office employee in the UK to test the credibility or the genuineness. They will check whether you are a genuine student or not as a tier 4 applicant. That's the whole purpose of the credibility interview, is to check whether you are a genuine student or not. The process should take around 15 to 20 minutes, during which the time you will be asked a series of mandatory questions and your answer will be recorded. Um, what type of questions here? Typically questions, see, if you look at this, I think then you are all sorted. Look at this. These are the typical questions they will ask you. Why did you choose Edinburgh Napier University? So if you go to your university you applied for, then that will help. Why did you choose Edinburgh University? And then you can read all this, and then it will help you to prepare yourself. Why did you choose your course? How do your study fit into your career plans? Okay, so this is the series of the questions they will ask you, and they will also give you some sort of like a guidelines as well. So for example, if you see this one, why did you choose Edinburgh Napier Universities? So they will give you some guidelines and hints as well. Think about why you choose a university, why you choose UK rather than your home country, other English speaking countries, or the country which other students of your nationality choose for study. Say for example Canada, right? So they might ask you, why didn't you go to Canada and why you come to UK? So you go to the university profile, and then you can make your case, make your answer. And if you need any help to drive any of your answer, let me know. I think if I just create answers for every questions, so this is like a may vary student by student, so it's quite difficult to give the same answers to all the students. So let me know your scenario, then I can help you to write the answer for your question. You can go to the website for the uni you applied for to check all the credibility interview questions and the pre-CAS requirement as well. If you're still waiting for your CAS, there might be a reason that they are waiting for something to you, or you have to clear pre-CAS interview. So get in touch with the uni, or let me know if you need any help or if you're still waiting for your CAS letter. Okay, back to the slide again. So as I said, in the interview process, your first interview will be your pre-CAS interview. Pre-CAS interview may or may not happen, but in some cases, the pre-CAS interview Some people call this as a precast interview just because you'll have to submit some documents prior to get your cast letter. But the second interview is definitely going to happen when you go and submit your application there. So the face-to-face interview um, is going to happen when you come to UK and at the time of your immigration. So immigration officer may pick you, they randomly pick students, they may pick you and ask you for like 5 or 10 minutes. They are very polite. They'll give you so much time to think about it, and they know students are traveling first time and they're nervous, so there's no pressure. This interview is basically not an academic interview, or it's not a subjective interview. This is the interview, and you will be asked very general questions about your motivation to, choosing your course, and then the country and your university you applied for, and of course your plan after you complete your studies. So this is all about these 4 or 5 questions. You need to be very, very confident, and if you practice your questions beforehand, then you will have a better flow of your English, and then you will be more confident, and you will have better control of yourself when you answer those questions, because they don't know anything about the course, and some students are not even able to communicate with them in English, and they have to send the student back because there is no other option, because the student is not able to justify and demonstrate the reason why he's here. So he loses credibility in that case. So but if you know the answers, then you will be very, very confident. I hope you understand, the point I'm trying to make here is it's not a rocket science. It's very simple, straightforward, few questions, and you'll have to answer very politely, very confident, and try to speak good English with them. Interview questions. I gave you few questions here, but you can go to your uni website as well, and you find the list of questions they may ask you. And these are the question could be asked as well, and I categorize them like in the 4 different sections. The first section will be is about yourself. And and it's basically all about yourself. Okay, what's your name and the date of birth, where you've been studying before in your home country, and which course you've been studying, how this course is linked to your previous studies, and how do you explain the gap if you have any gap in your studies, and how you're going to explain your gap. Have you previously studied in the UK or not? Have you ever been refused for any visa? So these kind of like a question. And second part is about your course, your uni, and the country. And this is very important part here. So this is all the questions, and very common, and I'm sure you already know the answer of all of these questions if you're at this stage of, your CAS. Um, so my first question would be your why did you choose this course? Um, how this course is linked with your previous study, and how long is your courses for? What qualification you will get after completion of this course? Why did you choose the CNE? And how did you find about the CNE? Do you know anyone studying in this uni, or you know where your university is located? um, and you can just go through the list of all of these questions. And the one last question is very important: why you want to come to UK for studies? Why did you choose UK as a country? So this section is all about your accommodation and work, and you may have 1 or 2 questions from this if you happen to appear in the interview. So this would be like, where will you be living during your course? Do you know how much is your accommodation and living expenses? And this is not very common questions, but good to know about this as well. If you tend to work in the UK, do you know how much hours you are allowed to work in the UK? And do you have any relative or friends living in the UK? And the next one is about to know about your funds. So I think this is also important. If you applied for a course, you should know how much the fees you are paying for your course, and and how you will gonna pay your fees. Let me just go back a little bit and see. The first section is about yourself, and the second section is about your course, uni, and the country, and the third section is about accommodation and work, and your fourth section is about your career aspirations. So you may have 1 or 2 questions or 5. So this is all about kind of like your guideline for your to get yourself prepared for the interview. It would be a good idea to kind of like cover all these questions and think about the answers. If you have any questions about this video, about your pre-CAS interview, CAS, or anything about study in UK, please feel free to leave comments below or send me an email at welcome new students in UK, and I will try my best to give you the best possible answer. So that's it, my friends. We will see you in the next video soon. Until then, goodbye and good luck.